everyone, and welcome to another question of the week video slash anime podcast. In the live chat, we have Espada, Cherry, Hunter, Menti, Sotos, Booty, Nox is here, Tiago, No Limits, the masturbator, lover of Love Island, has also joined us tonight. Dark Shadow is lurking. So I already had to redo this intro once. I won't do it again. But welcome to the live listeners and the listeners from later. This is supposed to kind of act like a podcast that you can mainly listen to, but there is a live chat on the screen if you want to read the chats. But today's topic is, what do you think is the best power system in anime or manga? Which power specifically would you like to have from that power system if you could choose? And who has the worst power system in anime that you would never want? Like, you'd rather have no power than having that power. So, quick shout out to Holland, who has scored 2 goals for Norway. I'm doing very great, apparently. I haven't been watching, but I've been hearing. And also a shout out to Modru for sponsoring Hellboy reaction today. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, let's get started with the first answer, which is from Shoru, whose internet wasn't working earlier, so went to bed already. By the way, the question was so interesting. I put a good 15 hours trying to answer because I'm bad at talking. Plus, I had the Booty's help. Okay. Let's see. Shoru says the best power system. Stands are my favorite power system of all time because every stand feels like an extension of its user. Rather than being simple weapons, they express a person's nature, mindset, and fighting style in unique ways. I also love that stand battles are rarely about overwhelming power. They're battle of intelligence, creativity, and adaptation. Like how quick you are on your feet, adapting. Every encounter feels like a puzzle where understanding your opponent is just as important as defeating them. That's a very cool way to put that. And one of my favorite things is the fact that JoJo's didn't start with stands. It started with Hamon, but stands are kind of like an extension or manifestation of what Hamon represented, right? Like, it doesn't feel that way. I don't know if some people see it as something else, but for me, it kind of just felt like if you can master Hamon, you can master or fully manifest your stand in a sense. This is the power that I would choose. I would be tempted to choose Rohan Kishibe's Heaven's Door. The idea of being able to write new traits into myself is incredibly appealing. I could make myself understand any language, become a better artist, or learn skills that would take years to master naturally. It feels like one of the most practical abilities you could have in everyday life. I agree. That said, even though stands are my favorite, I wouldn't choose them for myself because you don't get to decide which stand you awaken. While a stand reflects its user, the exact ability is still something you're simply given. And it might not quite suit the kind of life that you want. I would rather have Nen or Cursed Energy from Jujutsu Kaisen because it gives me far more control over how I develop my abilities. Through training restrictions and creativity, I can shape a power that fits my own strength instead of relying on fate. And the power I would least like to have is Mineta's. It looks ugly and it's useless. Good answer. Then we have Nox's answer next. Actually, never thought about Rohan's power. Like, yeah, you could do all those things. And I would probably really like to choose his power specifically, but it's a good point that in the world you don't get to choose your own stand, but you do get to develop your own Nen or cursed power. So that was a very well thought out answer. Okay, here's Nox's answer. My favorite power system in a series has been and most likely will be the power system in Digimon. On the surface, it looks comparable to other monster battle series like Monster Rancher, the OG, or Pokemon, but its focus on self awareness is what takes it over the top for me. The reason I love the idea of living in a world with the Digimon power system compared to other monster collecting series or shonen power systems in general comes down to two main reasons. One, it doesn't change how you interact with the world around you. While I love the idea of devil fruits, nen, chakra, or ki, all of these powers make the individual something beyond human. I want to argue about the chakra and ki thing beyond human, but I won't because not the time. As cool as it would be to have superpowers, run on water, or fire blasts of energy that could destroy the world, I feel like having those abilities would push me further away from humanity. I couldn't imagine what kind of person I would become if I had all the feats of the Dragon Ball cast. Oh yeah. Dragon Ball is ki and Naruto is chakras. And even though they are based on real world ideas, I do get that, especially Dragon Ball takes it like above and beyond. I wonder what. I wonder if you can give yourself a new stand with Heaven's Door. Probably not. Probably. More than that, Nox would be worried about everyone else who had the same powers. I don't like the idea of living in a world where androids or magical balls of gum can destroy entire cities in the blink of an eye. In Digimon, the characters remain ordinary humans who still have the normal limitations of being human. They simply have a companion designed to protect them, one whose strength is built on the bond that they share. I like the idea of living in a world where strength is determined not by destructive power or a measurable form of energy, but by something closer to loyalty and personal growth. I think that makes it much easier for normal people to stand out. But then aren't there bad Digimon or something? I haven't watched Digimon, but if the power is built on loyalty and personal growth, it feels like there wouldn't be bad guys in that case. Two, this power system rewards self awareness. One of the things that makes Digimon stand out compared to other monster collecting anime is that the main character's greatest moments of personal growth are almost always accompanied by an evolution. Oh, an evolution scene for their partner. As the main character matures, the power of their Digimon mature alongside them. It bookends an important emotional achievement with an exciting spectacle of monster combat. I think this balance is what makes Digimon one of my favorite coming of age stories in anime. I can't wait to react to it. Can't wait and play the games. I heard the games are so good compared to. I'm a huge Pokemon fan, absolutely obsessed, totally bought into the whole shtick, the gimmick, the money hungry corporate push out as many cute little monsters as you can, but spend no money on the games, even though we have money to get Lady Gaga and many other celebrities to do an ad for the Super Bowl. But I heard that, yeah, Digimon's games are actually. It's apples and oranges when comparing games. Digimon games are really hard sometimes, unforgiving. But even if I'm not even talking about the style, I'm just talking about the amount of effort put into it. And still I buy into them. I also love how the more mature entries in the franchise explore the opposite idea through negative development. In some Digimon spin offs, characters try to force their own growth by doubling down on toxic personality traits. That distortion is reflected in their Digimon. As the character becomes more unhinged, the cute monster companions evolve into vile monsters that become destructive to everyone around them. But that doesn't sound that much different than something like devil fruits or key. I don't know. Because then if you can get stronger by loyalty and personal development, if the opposite is true, that doesn't sound too different to me, but yeah. Seeing those story elements as a child made me much more conscious of trying to force personal growth unnaturally. I love anime where mental awareness has a direct impact on combat. Shout out to the JoJo's and Persona for exploring. Shout out to JoJo's and Persona for exploring similar themes, but Digimon stands out to me because it places those ideas in the hands of such young children. Watching kids learn that becoming stronger means becoming a better version of themselves rather than simply becoming more powerful always resonated with me more than any traditional power system. Worst is Dead Man Wonderland. It's too messy and makes me feel faint when I think about it. Dead Man Wonderland. Dead Man Wonderland. Dead Man with the girl with the white hair. No. Then XXIV says Hunter x Hunter's Nen is the best power system in anime manga. B. I actually shouldn't say. Through a wild coincidence, the ability I came up with for myself is one that Togashi actually implemented in the current arc. I'm talking 85% similar, which was a happy shock for me. My jaw was on the ground as I was turning the pages, doing one of these. One of these. So his own power system, it ended up 85% in Hunter x Hunter. And since I'm currently reading Hunter x Hunter, it's best to not mention. Thank you very much for being considerate. Aza says, I will take any opportunity to gush over World Trigger. It's easily got the best power system out of everything I've ever read or watched. Aza? I haven't seen him in years. He's got the waifu hunter tag. Instead of every individual being born with unique powers, in World Trigger, it's based on a set of weapons and tools that 95% of the cast has access to. This leads to much more focus on tactics, teamwork, and creative uses of the tools that everyone has. So instead of most of the fight being spent figuring out a villain's ability, everyone goes into the fight, know what the opponent's abilities are most of the time. It's just about if you can do your tactics better. It also gives characters the ability to switch out weapons and abilities every fight instead of being stuck with the one that they were born with. It's a super unique system compared to the vast majority of popular shonen. Let me quickly see. You mean my question was interesting? Dead Man Wonderland. So that's the girl that with the white hair. This kind of gives me dark Eureka 7 vibes. After being falsely convicted for the murder of his entire class, a young man must learn to survive in a mysterious prison with a perverted take on ... And then World Trigger. Suddenly, one day, monsters called neighbors emerge from a portal to a different world. Earth's weapons do not affect them, but a mysterious group of warriors... Excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not tired. So it looks like there's a stage play. Cool. Thank you, Aza, for gracing us with your presence after many years. Modru says, my favorite power system has to be One Piece. I love the idea of devil fruits and the endless possibility that different powers you can get from that system. I know this isn't an anime, but the whole power system for Warhammer 40k is so fascinating. Just an example. Orcs in Warhammer 40k are a dumb race, but whatever they collectively believe in comes true. Like they believe something red goes fast, so they just slap red paint on a vehicle and it goes faster. Also, orcs do not understand engineering or physics, yet they build highly incredible advanced spaceships and weapons out of pure scrap because of their belief. That's cool. That is very cool. If an orc builds a gun out of a literal garbage and the mob believes it will fire, the psychic field manipulates reality to make it shoot and deal massive damage. Just like in real life. It's called quantum physics, and One Piece also delves into that a little bit. The thing is that orcs are stupid, so they all believe like easily, but people are divided, so we can't create the same way. It takes a bit more effort to convince enough people to make something. However, if anyone else, such as a human, tries to pick up an orc gun, it will instantly fall apart and fail to function. That's just one faction. I could go on and on when you talk about the human belief with their emperor or the four chaos gods and their belief system. That's very cool. Wow. No wonder Superman's actor plays it. Okay, and of course, Tiago's first answer is Hitman Reborn's Dying Will Flames, later complemented by its weapon/animal boxes. Lore-wise, Dying Will Flames is a high-density form of positive energy refined directly from a living being's own internal life force, and this energy manifests as flames and usually needs a medium to bring it out. Because it's raw, condensed life force, it responds directly to a person's resolve and resolution, adrenaline, and survival instincts, a reflection of the user's sheer determination and will to live. The dying will flames come in seven different types corresponding to the rainbow and sky. There are more types, but I'll keep it simple for now and leave the spoiler tags as a cheeky click-by-click reveal. I mean, I don't think I'll read it or watch it anytime soon, but should I click the spoiler tags? So there's storm, red, disintegration, rain, blue, tranquility, sun, yellow, activation. Oh, wait. Okay, I'm supposed to read it. Storm, red, disintegration, breaks down anything it touches. That is what disintegration means. Rain, blue, tranquility, de-escalates or slows down processes, acting as a perfect counter to aggressive elements. Sun, yellow, activation, high-speed cellular regeneration or enhancement, healing and power boosts. Lightning, green, hardening, creates an incredibly dense shield or concentrated electrical shock. Mist, indigo, construction, creates physical illusions that can be touched out of thin air. Cloud, purple, propagation, multiplies or grows object clones, ideal for solo battlefield control. Sky, orange, harmony, absorb, pacify, or assimilate with all other flames. Or 0-point breakthrough becomes negative/inverted flames to freeze any flame attribute. That sounds very interesting. The stronger your resolution, the more pure the color of the flame becomes, and the more you can bring out the property of your flame's attribute. So the rules of this power system end up becoming more and more about compatibility, counter, synergy, as well as mental state. Later on, this is complemented with weapon/animal boxes, which needs a ring and a dying will flame. And you can't force it open because the flame needs to match the color of the boxes in order to open, minus the sky flame because harmony is the master key that harmonious with the box. Give me a sip. Dawn, it's my water. How dare you drink my water that I wasn't drinking?
Holland scored 2 goals.
Mm-hmm. How does his song go?
I don't care. I'm not a Manchester City fan.
Oh, he's Manchester City. Oh, damn.
You said that right. It's Manchester City.
I like him still. Okay, bye.
As long as all the pictures you save of him on your phone has to be in his Norway shirt.
I'm not saving pictures.
Or
I'm just
without a shirt, but not a Manchester City shirt.
He's white. He got wifey.
So what?
I won't share him. I don't save him without a shirt.
You don't have to share the pictures.
I don't save his pictures either. I just watch them and go, yeah, that's the football I want to see. Man playing, not falling down and crying.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, what? And you can't force it open, the animal boxes, because the flame needs to match the color of the box in order to open it. Mine is the sky flame because harmony is the master key that harmonious with the boxes of any attribute. Do you mean to say harmonizes with the boxes of any attribute? There are boxes that can be opened by any flame, but those are non-combat utility boxes. I like how you took this as an opportunity to not only tell me which is the best, but like you're explaining to me exactly how it works. Like you're not really saying why it's the best. You're explaining the whole system exactly, and then you let it speak for itself. There are boxes that can be opened by any flame. Okay. Luckily, having multiple flame attributes is possible, so I would like to have both the sky and cloud attribute, as I can't pass off on either of them. The sky flame as my main attribute with cloud as my sub attribute. Sky weapon box. Boots and gloves that use sky flames to propel me through the air and launch condensed flame blasts, with the option to switch to negative flames to freeze from the glove's boots. So basically, Shoto, but with Bakugo's aerial talents. Putting it in words that I understand. Thank you. The cloud animal box. I have to have an orca for an animal companion. And since sky flames work with any box, it will be able to switch between cloud and sky flames depending on the ring I channel from. Sky flames if I want to use supersonic echolocation waves to pacify, or when I use the negative flames to have the sky orca flash freeze whoever I'm up against. Meanwhile, switching to cloud flames will be for when I want an army of perfectly coordinated, terrifying pods of orcas swimming through the air. Holy shit! Sounds like a wild power system, and sounds like you've already thought about this a lot. The worst power in any anime that I would never want, it's something similar to King Midas. To turn anything he touches to gold without control. So 2 powers come to mind. Number 1, turning everything you touch into tofu. Clothes, food, people. The disastrous life of Saiki K. And rewind every biological thing you touch back to nothing. Without any control. Food and anything alive. Eri from My Hero Academia. Yeah, that actually, any power that you can't control would absolutely kind of suck. Thank you for the very in-depth. I did not know Hitman Reborn was that complex. It looks so light and silly. You know, because of, I haven't really seen, but it looks so light and silly. But yeah, I forgot how detailed the manga. Look at that. That looks crazy. That is freaking cool. Oh, look at the little buddy. I forgot how, yeah, that's, how many chapters does this have again? Wow. Akira Amano. Wow. Wow. Sorry. Okay. Enough. Next up. Wait, question, Tiago. What power would suit me from Hitman Reborn? FMAB has what should be my favorite power system in anime, at least in theory. So this is from Booty. Most of the universe is made up of the same relatively small set of elements. If you can separate and rearrange them at will, the possibilities are nearly endless. Unlike other power systems that depend on natural talent or luck, like being born with a powerful quirk, alchemy is almost entirely based on knowledge and creativity. So what if you're born not very smart? So then it's also luck based on how many what kind of brain you're born with. I'm joking. My problem is that FMAB barely scratches the surface of that idea. Most alchemists are specialists who rarely step outside of their niche. Roy Mustang specializes in fire, Kimberly in explosions, while Edward and Armstrong mainly fight by reshaping the environment into weapons or projectiles. That's perfectly fine. Specialization should be rewarded, but once they're pushed outside their specialty, they often seem strangely limited. Take Roy versus Lust, for example. After losing his ignition gloves, he only manages to keep fighting because Gene Havoc happens to be a smoker, and has a lighter to create the spark that Roy needs. I think it would have been much cooler if Roy had simply used alchemy to transmute something capable of producing a spark instead of relying on pure luck. What I would have loved to see is more situations where alchemists use basic scientific knowledge alongside their speciality. For example, imagine dissolving some table salt in a bottle of water. Yeah, something you could find in many of the buildings they fight in. Activate the transmutation and throw the bottle while the process is finishing. The goal would be to separate the salt into sodium and chlorine. The sodium would react violently the instant it came into contact with the water, while the chlorine gas would also create a dangerous cloud. It wouldn't be anywhere near one of Kimberly's explosions, but it would be a great improvised distraction to create chaos and buy yourself an opportunity to escape or counterattack. Mhm. There are countless examples. Transmute a bit of magnesium, which can be found in many common materials, and you could create a blinding flash, similar to Dragon Ball's Taiyoken. It wouldn't replace a specialist's signature technique, but it would massively expand what a skilled alchemist could do in a pinch. That's the aspect of FMAB's power system I wish the series had explored more. The endless possibilities that comes from understanding your environment. If I had to choose an alchemical build in that world, I'd probably be the only one who never specialized. Instead, I would have an endless toolbox of improvised tricks for every situation. None of them would be as powerful or efficient as a specialist's signature technique, but I'd almost never run out of options. As for the worst power, I'm going to cheat and choose Wither from X-Men. His power is organic decay. It's the ability to cause decay and eventually disintegrate all forms of organic matter by touch. It's involuntary and it has a hunger, which gives Wither a desire to use it. Oh. Imagine not being able to touch anything or anyone alive and even struggle to eat since you have to swallow your food without touching it to avoid the decay. That sounds shit. Once again, yeah, almost any power where you can't control it, like you can't touch anything or ugh. Even today's movie of Hellboy, where the one girl she can't control her fire, it just happens. Like that would be it would make me feel crazy too. Tiago said, in the world of Hitman Reborn, I'm guessing either Storm or Sun attributes might suit you. Storm because it acts like fire, and fire is your go-to answer in Pokemon. Sun for the healing and power support that you could be able to offer. Sounds awesome. Sunstorm. I like it. Then we have Odinoko. Okay, wait. Firstly, that is a very well thought out answer, and I also really like the concept of alchemy. So I think it would have been very interesting if maybe explored it in more depth, like you say. And now that you talk about it and give examples, I hope that there will be an anime in the future that leans into the alchemy, the like real science mixed with some, you know, magic. It kind of reminds me of, how Dr. Stone, it kind of teaches you, but it's still fictional, it's still fantastical, but you actually can learn a few things as you watch. Like, it'd be pretty cool if they mixed Dr. Stone and FMAB style and gave us a show that alchemists. Yeah. Okay. Odinoko. My first thought is devil fruits, since they come with the automatic drawback that even in-universe have made people draw the line and not take them, which has led to other ways of catching up and keeping it interesting, like hockey or technology, making this insane story about gods and devil fruits feel relatable in its approach. Also, I'm picking any devil fruit other than the one that just turns you into a jacket. I think my answer would probably also be devil fruits, just because of how insanely creative. And I really love Vegapunk's explanation of, or his theory about how they came about. I'm super interested in quantum physics / mechanics. So I just really love the idea of devil fruits in the first place, the creativity, and then the possible theory of their existence. If I had to choose a devil fruit for myself, let me quickly look something up. Uta Uta no Mi, a non-canon paramecia type fruit, allows her to transport the consciousness of anyone who hears her singing into a virtual dream dimension known as Uta World. That's so cool! I love that! Yes, I want that. I want Uta Uta no Mi. Espada says, I think I'm going to have to go with the Naruto power system before the war arc, that is. And then he just has to add a little jab in there. The war arc is really bad, pure garbage. They can do whatever they just like because they feel like it. Ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu. These are very easy to understand and to wrap your head around. Watching characters use these types of techniques makes for very interesting and entertaining fights. Some ninjutsu is pretty fun to watch. Then you have the special people that have Kekkei Genkai, always fascinating to see what crazy abilities they have. Is it going to be like elemental? Is it going to be elemental like Haku, ice, or eye power? Maybe even something similar like Kimimaro's bones. I love the elemental aspect of it. I always wondered what type I would be if I had a white piece of paper. Hoping for earth / rock. Unless I have a head captain Yamamoto Genryusai Shigekuni power from Bleach. I don't like fire. Worst power I can think of or have seen is the Horm fruit of Ivankov. That's crazy. If you can control the hormones in your body, like, obviously he utilizes it in certain ways, but I mean, you can do a lot with that. That's really, really cool. Like, if you can alter the chemistry of your mind, and there's worse fruits. What about the giraffe fruit? Come on. We're big at this showing. Odinoko replied something to hide, Espada boy. And then he said, piss off, femboy. Why are you hiding the... Oh. Was it... Spoiler tagged? He's afraid to be tempted to end as a girl with rose-colored hair. Dun da da da! I finally made it to Sotos's answer. He spent 15 hours thinking about it and asking even Booty to help him spell check so that I will not struggle to read. Let's see how it went. Soto says, I think Naruto's chakra system is the best power system in anime. While most people default to eye powers like the Sharingan, I think the chakra system itself is what makes Naruto stand above the rest. Especially because of how it handles the Snake Sage mode. I was waiting for that. The foundation of the system is already excellent because it rewards strategy, creativity, and training rather than just raw strength. Chakra isn't just about throwing bigger attacks. It can be molded into countless forms through elemental transformations, medical ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu enhancement, sealing techniques, summons, sensory abilities, barriers, and even space-time techniques. Almost every character can develop a completely different fighting style while still following the same fundamental rules. Snake Senjutsu, yes, snake and not frog, who cares about the frog, takes that even further by combining chakra with natural energy. Instead of simply making the user stronger, it enhances their physical abilities, sensory perception, and mastery of snake based techniques, allowing them to use poison, summon snakes. Wait, don't you mean venom? Don't you mean venom? Allowing them to use poison, summon snakes, regenerate by shedding their skin like a snake, and fight in unpredictable ways. What I love most is that it isn't just an overwhelming power multiplier like Super Saiyan transformation. So it doesn't just like blah 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 blah. Which makes the fights wait. It encourages deceptive, adaptable, and highly technical fighting styles where intelligence matters just as much as power. A weaker shinobi with better tactics, preparation, and chakra control can legitimately defeat a stronger opponent, which makes fights more interesting than simply asking who has the bigger dick. I mean, transformation. On top of that, chakra has clear rules and limitations. You can run out of chakra, you can overuse techniques, or even damage yourself by pushing beyond your limits. Those restrictions make victories feel earned instead of handed out through endless power ups. Every ability has strengths, weaknesses, and counters, which keeps the battles engaging. The chakra system is flexible enough to support well. Excuse me. I have never read so many words come from Sotos's mouth. I need a break. The chakra system is flexible enough to support wildly different combat styles while remaining internally consistent, and Snake Sage mode is one of the best examples. If it's not clear already, I would choose the path of the Snake Sage because it matches my aggressive, head-on fighting style. I have a genuine love for snakes, and I think you don't say. And I think being able to summon both the giant, tanky snakes to crush defenses and the smaller ones to swarm and distract opponents is the ultimate setup. You know, if you use snakes in fights, some of them will get hurt and die. It allows me to stay on the move and keep the high intensity without ever having to slow down or play the patient game. I wouldn't want devil contracts because they're one of the worst power systems in anime. Every ability comes with a permanent sacrifice, whether it's your lifespan, your body, your senses, or something else you can never get back. The stronger the devil, the bigger the price. Devil contracts, so that's from Chainsaw Man. So you're constantly losing parts of yourself just to become stronger. On top of that, you're making deals with devils that don't care about humans and only see you as something to use. Even after sacrificing so much, there's no guarantee you will survive, and you can still be killed like anyone else. I'd rather have a power that's actually mine instead of borrowing one from a devil while slowly destroying myself in the process. Very good answer. Very good answer. Except the part where, you know, you would use little tiny snakes to distract and then you remember, you know, if you distract me with a bunch of snakes, I will definitely chop a few heads off. I'm just saying. Chakra has so Espada replied and saying, Chakra has clear rules and limitations up to a certain point. During the war arc, Kishimoto was like, fuck it, let's go full Dragon Ball style. Espada taking any chance to take a shot at the war arc. The Magic Man of Nojamiya shared the unrelated. I wonder if it'll make you more excited for the next season of Super, but the designer for the Broly movie will be doing the new season. What does it mean, the designer? The designer of what? My snakes would eat everyone. No one can touch them. Bahahahahaha. Okay, let's see. Apothecary Diaries, new movie is coming this December. Uh-oh, they're switching to movie style now. I took it a step further and I even made this. Of course you did. This is Sotos as a Naruto character with the Snake Sage power. Make one for me with the Uta Uta no Mi. Your face looks too skinny. Broly movie has a new designer. Designer of what? What are they designing? Did you tag me in an answer? I didn't react to the video. So why would I read through the rest of the stuff? It's about a video that I'm not going to react to. I didn't read your messages and I didn't read Booty's message and I didn't read Tiago's message. I skipped all the way to here. If you want me to read your message, maybe answer the question. The dystopian animated web series Alien Stage is officially receiving an anime adaptation. Mashal Season 3 is scheduled for January 27. Solo Leveling Beyond the System, the brand new anime theatrical feature film, is officially in production. Damn, but that is a cool visual, I'm not gonna lie. Where was your answer? I read Sotos, I read Espada, then the Magic Man, and then there's a video, and then where's your answer? I look for all the orange stuff. You didn't miss it. There are two before Waleed's. Oh, thank you for distracting me for 2 minutes. I'm scrolling. Witch Hat Season 2. Steel Ball Run, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, second stage is scheduled for September 25 on Netflix. When you say second stage, is that one episode or new episodes will be released weekly? Oh yeah, so they say. There's a bunch of, yes, it will be weekly. No, it will be all at once. No, wait, we're not doing anything anymore. You have to wait months for the next part. Fix the typo. New episodes will be released weekly on Fridays in total. The second and third stage will include one. Whoa! Rising of the Shield Hero, Season 5, scheduled for 2027. Whoa! That looks pretty cool. Frieren and Beyond Journey's End Season 3 and Delicious in Dungeon Season 2 will both release in October 2027. Woohoo! Okay. Next up, Vert. I forgot to answer for a long time again. I think it's no surprise that my favorite power system is JoJo. The stands. Specifically, stands from part 5 to 9. In fantasy fiction, there's a concept of hard magic systems versus soft magic. Hard magic, like Dungeons and Dragons or Avatar, categorize and define limitations of magic and set clear rules for the story and characters to follow when using magic. In soft magic systems like Lord of the Rings or Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings, the magic and its borders are less defined. Readers do not know the limitations of what can be done, and the characters often don't know either. I strongly, almost exclusively prefer soft magic systems because they allow magic to be more magical and leave more room for the types of creativity that I enjoy. Oh, thank you for explaining that. I never knew about hard magic versus soft magic. I feel like there's a joke there for Sotos. Do you want to make it? Despite JoJo's stands having a few rules, like range limitations or automatic stand behavior, they're definitely a type of soft magic. Stands, particularly in part 5 and up, can do anything that Araki can think of. Sometimes they punch really fast, but sometimes their power is so metaphorical it's hard to wrap your brain around it. The result is that when these ill-defined powers clash, you can't predict where the fight will go or how we will get there. If I could have any stand, I would choose Josuke's Soft and Wet from part 8. Josuke? We haven't met Josuke, right? But why does it sound familiar? Soft and Wet. Because it's from part 8. Talking about why is spoilers all the way down. But I will say it's one of the stands that best embodies what I like about stands as a whole. Each time it is used, it is something that you've never seen before. The worst power in manga that I would never want is Agni's power from Fire Punch. It's sort of spoilery again, but I'll briefly say he has healing powers that lead to horrifying consequences. That sounds so terrible. Like, it's healing powers. You expect it to be good. Excuse me. And then yesterday, Dragon Ball Super anime premiered 11 years ago today. No, not that emoji. Just this emoji. Your art is ready. I hope you like it. Ooh! My uta uta no mi. My phone is on 3%. Wow. It looks nothing like me, but I'll take it. Hold down. It's your style of like goth. That's why. Wow. So beautiful though. Oh, so cute. Song of Freedom. I'm so tan. Birth age 22. Affiliation pirate. The Uta Uta no Mi allows the user to create control and become sound. Her singing can charm, manipulate emotions, or even inflict damage depending on the song. Wow. I don't sing for glory. I sing so I never have to be silent again. Even a quote! So cool! We don't follow the crude quote is, we don't follow the world. We make our own song. My voice isn't just beautiful, it's my weapon, my freedom, and my promise. If only. You were a pirate. That's all day in the sun. It kind of makes sense. True. No, she made me feel self-conscious. She was so beautiful. Next up, we have Mr. Drakenschnado. We will keep it relevant to the actual topic. Mr. Drakenschnado says, there are quite a few different power systems that I like a lot, so it's hard to come up with a single best one. However, while going through the different shows, I found a few different criteria came to me that would help decide. Let me quickly pause. We continue with Dark Shadow's answer. There are a few different power systems that I like. It's hard to come up with a single one. I went through the different shows, and a few criteria came to me that would help me decide. Number 1, availability. I prefer systems where the powers are not limited to a specific set of special people, and anyone could acquire some form of power with enough effort. 2, growth potential. Powers and abilities can be developed and grown stronger with training. And bounded. The system should have some form of limitations or rules around usage of the powers and not allow completely OP situations to happen, like overpowered situations. Considering all of that, I think that the power system in One Piece makes a great fit, while also having the bonus of almost limitless variety with the devil fruits. While the devil fruits themselves are limited and only grant power to the person who eats them, with the additional systems of haki and general intensive combat training, with or without weapons, anyone can develop some form of power if they so desire, given enough effort. The fruits themselves immediately offer the user new powers, but they also need to learn how to control and master the powers, with increased strength and new techniques being possible to develop with enough practice and creativity. All fruits share the common drawback of losing energy and being able to move in water, which can also be triggered by kairoseki. And some of the more overpowered fruits have limits around costing the user stamina, or in the case of Logias, being encountered by the element's specific natural weakness. So like rubber against electricity. Haki itself is also a counter to the fruits, though it has its own limits with overuse draining the user and leaving them unable to use it for some time. I think for the most part, the systems feel balanced, although as the series progressed, hockey became more of a necessity, which is to be expected. Because, the world is getting bigger, the characters are getting stronger. However, just having hockey, it doesn't guarantee a win against someone who has mastered their fruit. My power of choice. If I was to pick a power from a fruit, then I think I would go for Marco's Tori Tori no Mi model Phoenix. There's the natural physical strength enhancement from being a Zoan, the maneuverability and flight from being a bird, and the healing ability, which can be applied both to the user and to others in a reduced capacity. In terms of non fruit related powers, the One Piece OC I created years ago was designed as a sniper, and I gave him armament and observation haki, and the ability to use Soro and Geppo. The the powers from Water 7. Clove, anybody? So I'm sticking with that. Worst power. For this, I'm sticking to characters who actually use their powers, since in My Hero Academia there could be a lots of seemingly bad powers only because they have not been intentionally developed. In My Hero Academia, Mineto's quirk came to mind, though I think it could still have uses with a competent user. So I'm going to go with the Jake no Mi. Jake? Jake? It's not something that you can use by yourself. So unless you have a strong partner, you're just giving up being able to swim. What is Jake no Mi? Jake. I'm gonna Google it. Oh, the jacket fruit. Where? When did we see that power? I honestly don't remember. Jake no Mi. Let's look it up. Allows the user to transform into a living jacket. When worn by another person, the jacket user gains full control of the wearer's body and abilities. Yeah, you basically become you have to possess someone, like, essentially. Yeah, that's not a nice one. Kelly Funk. Oh my goodness, look at this visual. Jake to me. It helps you say cool, no doubt, without getting confused, and you can make title of your sex tape joke. So you must have that, right? You must have that power. I see. I'm glad that you also. I like to hear more people choosing devil fruits, because I think that, I don't know, there's something about the colorfulness and the creativity and the fun, and like the more people choose the devil fruits, I'm like imagining my crew filling out. Then there's a post here by Shoru. You have a lot to look forward to. I know the wait might be long, but we're doing our utmost to deliver a work worthy of your expectations. I hope that season 4 will be the most beautiful response to all this giving. 5 years I've been receiving your support and love. And now it's time to repay this kindness in season 4. The voice actor for Yuji. Is it the Arabic voice actor? Waleed's answer! The last melon that I did not skip. You can ask your question. It's Ki from Dragon Ball. I like that it's simple and effective. That is all. My worst power is Chopper's fruit. It will not do anything for me, because you are already a human. It will do something for you. You will lose the ability to swim. You were mad that I almost skipped that answer? I'm joking. Thank you. I wonder what would happen. Did Oda ever address that? What would happen if a human ate the human no Mi? I have a question. There's a girl that can turn people into toys. Can that work on everyone? Or if you have strong haki, can you say, no, that power will not work on me? You might want to ask Oda. I don't know. I'm joking. What does she do to turn people into toys again? How does she turn people into toys? I think as long as she touches you. I don't know. I feel like if you are really that strong, you wouldn't let her touch you. Oda said in a joking manner that a human who ate this fruit might become more human like or find their true spirit. The jury's out on whether or not it's a mythical model human fruit like Luffy or Sengoku's. The jury, well, it's kind of already confirmed. Like, because of the whole, you know, the, I don't want to spoil, but yeah, there's definitely more to that. What if a jacket fruit is mythical too? Not everything is mythical. Okay, wait a second. Give me 2 minutes. What is the most overpowered anime ability? So, this is a bit of a different question. Like, best means what is your favorite? What's the best? That's how people 9 out of 10 times should interpret, oh, this is the best thing ever. Like, it's your favorite. But overpowered ability, it kind of means like a broken ability, right? So you think about that for a second. I'm just gonna say my favorite is One Piece, and I want the Uta Uta no Mi. My least favorite power is not something I really thought about, but it just feels like anything that I wouldn't be able to control, like what people said about, decay, or just anything. Like in Hellboy today, she couldn't control this fire. So that's my answer. Just as long as I can control my power, I really don't care what I have. But I would really like to have the Uta Uta no Mi. Zeno. He's the most overpowered character, yeah. His power is creation, I guess. The most OP would have to be the most inconsistent. So Fairy Tail's magic system, is it inconsistent? Omnipotence in essence. Most overpowered in my mind would be control over cause and effect. So reality rewriting. I feel like there is one or two powers like that. Remember the girl from X-Men? She almost killed her boyfriend. Yeah. The one with the streak in her hair. What's her name again? Cherry says, overpowered. Gojo comes to mind. I like the power system of Jujutsu Kaisen, but all of it seems so complicated. So I want to keep it simple. And have a devil fruit, a gravity one. Similar to Chuya's ability from BSD. Reminds me a little bit, it's not a gravity fruit. That sounds very, very cool though, but Miss Valentine came to mind, but that's just weight. Gravity, like making someone lighter and being able to like like Uravati from My Hero Academia a little bit, but put that in the One Piece world. That would be so cool. Sodos, make the character. We would have to decide which shonen protagonist does the most aura farming with the least effort. Piccolo. Oh, protagonist. Solo leveling. What's the question? We were talking about overpowered anime abilities. Scratch that. I'll go with Fairy Tail. I love water power, so I want Juvia's. Unfortunately, there's no water fruit in One Piece. Yeah, water power is cool. I think Nox, your answer was very creative because it's not so much like when I think of anime powers, I never really thought about, pocket monster systems. And I didn't know about, the Digimon and Link to being like your personal development. So that was a very good and interesting answer. Like it was a creative way to think about it. That's true. Manipulating gravity in general. I have to wait. Well, that just means you have to awaken your devil fruit. Uravati. She just hasn't fully awakened her power yet. I have to wait until tomorrow, but I'll make another one and send it. Send me too. Which power becomes stronger the smarter the user is? Which anime power is carried entirely by the character rather than the actual ability? Uraraka needs to touch, which can be a big problem. But that's what I'm saying. I was just trying to see what it would look like. And that's why I mentioned her power not being awakened if you mix it with actual if it was a One Piece fruit. Her power could be awakened and it would look much different than it does in My Hero Academia. I feel like One Piece has some crazy strong powers, but they're balanced by really weak users. Like Perona or Sugar. Oh, that's true. That's very cool when you think about. And that's why I love how long One Piece is, because in some cases you do get to see the same devil fruit in the hands of two different users. And it is very cool to think about how you would use, like Perona, for example. Imagine Kaido with Perona's power. Okay, that was a bad example, but you know what I mean. What do you think is one of the strongest devil fruits? And then put it in the hands of strongest devil fruits Kaido would get drunk and make everyone as depressed as himself. So according to Google, we have the Gura Gura no Mi, known as the most destructive devil fruit. It grants the user the ability to create quakes. Its power is so immense, it's said to be capable of destroying the entire world by tilting oceans and shattering the air itself. And guess who has that power now? Ah! So was Whitebeard not awakened? Since when Blackbeard got it, he could do the same thing as him. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe he was strong enough not to need to awaken it. Udinoko says, I think Blackbeard's was weaker. Yami? The Yami fruit was weaker? Oh, you mean when he got it, he didn't get it as strong? I mean, maybe it was awakened if you can destroy the world with it. So immense, it is capable of destroying the entire world. Maybe the fact that I don't know, the fact that the Teach hasn't won yet is proof. Well, he doesn't know how. What if you don't know the extent of the power and you could destroy your own shit? If you take it too far, I don't know. Pudding has a crazy busted fruit. She could turn almost any character into her ally if she messed with their memories, like that one Bleach villain. There's another show that had ooh, can I say a spoiler for a manga? You will forget. But there's a character with that power in Ichi the Witch. It's strong. Marineford arc in retrospect has a lot of problems because of the lack of Haki and awakened devil fruit that should be prominent in that battle. So meaning Oda hadn't really introduced the concept yet. So the fact that it's missing, like in retrospect, if he rewrote that arc, it would look a lot different. So yeah, the Ope Ope no Mi, famously utilized by Law, this ultimate devil fruit allows the user to create a spherical room. Within the zone, they have godlike control, allowing them to manipulate, teleport, and dissect anything they please. Then the Yami Yami no Mi, it allows the user to control and generate an infinite void of darkness. Its most powerful attribute is the ability to absorb and completely nullify the power of any devil fruit user upon contact. That shit's crazy. Those are but now imagine the Yami Yami no Mi and give it to the least, like give it to Gaimon. In my headcanon, Awakening was already present with Crocodile. But maybe it just didn't have names yet. Maybe it was there, but it wasn't named. So in that sense, but yeah, Haki still should have been more prevalent. Should have. in the Marine War arc. It would be very cool. Imagine if, I mean, he doesn't have the time, but imagine if he did. And he could like rewrite that arc and tweak it a bit to add the powers that he later did add, you know? It's a It's also a reason why One Piece is not really a battle shonen for me. Those problems mostly exist in older battles, but it doesn't affect the story. True. As long as it doesn't affect the story, like that war arc was, even if whether there was or wasn't Haki, you can assume the fight would have turned out the same. So as long as the story isn't affected, like it still conveyed the same thing. It's still. The live action series did what? I think the Yami Yami fruit has drawback that makes it hard to use for characters who can't take a ton of punishment. Why? Okay, here's another. If you could see, this should actually be a question of the week in the future, but just quickly before we end. Like, if you could see two powers clash from two different shows or anime or games, like which power would you want to see fight which other power? That's a good one. If you can't think of something right now, come back to the video and just answer it later. But that's a really good question, I think. I definitely can't think of something right now, but I will. Ooh, Gaara versus Crocodile, Battle of the Sand. Would always be cool to see characters with a similar power from different shows fight each other. Always. Would love to see it. Oh, Blackbeard said when he fought Ace, he takes more pain since his body absorbs everything. By showing Shanks using Conqueror's Haki on the snake or Barto in Loguetown. Barto was in Loguetown? Oh. I know, I said, I know what he's talking about. I said, what did the live action do? Okay, well, Gaara versus Crocodile, and any user with a power from one anime would be cool to see. You know, the same powers clash, like. Oh, but honestly, I know, like, what about Juvia from Fairy Tail? But she has a water type. She has a water type Pokemon team. And then, okay, but see, the problem with that is, like, she has only water type Pokemon, so she can't fight a fire type user like Natsu with only fire Pokemon. But I would actually love to see some fan art of, various characters like Juvia or Natsu or whoever as Pokemon gym leaders. That counts as a power topic, right? Hellboy versus Devilman Crybaby. Even though I've never seen Devilman Crybaby, but it just sounds cool. Hellboy versus Devilman Crybaby. Devilman, Hellboy. Guys, I finally finished and sent my essay. Yay! Gray versus Aokiji, ice users. Yes. I love to see it. But let's try mixing it up. Batman versus Light Yagami! Oh my gosh, that sounds so cool! Damn, because Batman is like, he doesn't fully operate in the law, and Light Yagami thinks he's like, you know, he is the law. Oh, I'm bad at that because I dislike death battles as a concept. Why? Devilman has a lot of hot women. I never watched it, but isekai me there, so I support it now. All right. That was one of my favorite question of the week videos. It was so interactive and fun. We should do another one where we just put all the powers of different characters and I just like give everyone random powers and we force ChatGPT to make us art. If I was a millionaire, I'd commission the art for us, but that might take a while. Oh, Goku versus Saitama. Oh, that's why Odinoko doesn't like it. Hulk versus Broly, the most Espada fight ever. If you don't give me a snake, I will unsubscribe. My first reaction is always they wouldn't fight and the conversation dies there. That's why you get fan fiction that creates up a reason for why they would fight. Or, I mean, you look at those anime games where it mixes all those characters and you can fight against each other. Just to see how it would look. Or imagine a Tenkaichi Budokai. Boom, that's why Superman and the Goku fights, because there's a Tenkaichi Budokai. Power Rangers versus Germa 66. It's not Shaggy! It's Saggy! Shaggy is hairy! You and the booty both keep typing Shaggy, Shaggy. Shaggy boobs and saggy boobs are very different. Saggy, Shaggy. Saggy, Shaggy. Don't mix them up. I don't want to imagine Bulma with shaggy boobs. Sailor Moon versus Usopp. I want to see Chopper versus Anya. A battle of who is more cute. I'm sorry to say, but Anya wins. Even Chopper would say Anya wins. Roshi versus Sanji. Oh, my lord. Please. Now we are delving into other things. I would like to see hand-to-hand combat characters. Like, they can use elements of their power, but like, I want to see choreography more than flashy powers. Who would be perfect to fight? No. Meruem versus Cell. I don't know why I said no. All I really wanted to say was, I hope Cell wins. Sanji versus any woman. Not for the fight. I just want to see his fans frustrated. I would like to see them battle it out. Something that is not fighting, like carving wood competition between Goku and Luffy. The only competition those two would have is eating. Zoro versus Levi. I know Zoro would win, but I just like sword fights with no haki or anything. Yeah, exactly. That's what I want to see. Zoro versus Levi is cool. Sword users or just like hand-to-hand combat things that will have more choreography than like light shows and explosions. Spike versus Vash. Why would they fight? Tenkaichi Budokai? Rock Lee for a start. Imagine Rock Lee versus Ippo. Aizen versus Lelouch. Similar powers that clash. Spike likes bounties, and Vash has a pretty big bounty. Cool, and I would love to see that. Okay, before we finish up, please feel free if you come up with any cool counters, or this one versus that one, whatever it is. I'd love to imagine it. But I just quickly want to see if the Ko-fi poll, since we were talking about Code Geass, Lee is a beast. Poor Ippo will fall in 3 seconds. No. Like, without his power, just the techniques, just the choreo, What do you think is the worst power? As I said, anything that you can't control. Like, not being able to control your power is scary to me. Yep, nothing changed. So tomorrow I will post Code Geass versus Rooster Fighter. Please keep an eye out for that, Ko-fi members. Actually, it would be really cool. I'm going to make a visual for that. Code Geass Ledouche versus the MC of the Rooster anime. Lee versus Baki. I haven't seen Baki, but yeah. Okay, I hope you guys had a lot of fun with me today. I've been streaming for 11 hours. I hope Rooster Fighter wins. It would be hilarious. We'll see. What if I don't like chickens fighting though? What if I don't like it? I'm always so scared. But I feel so happy that I started Ippo and I really like it. I was worried that I might not, but yes, Mikasa versus Erra. Me versus Uzumaki-kan. I die. Have you seen my noodle arms? Dead. Unless it's a screaming match. Although he's pretty good at screamer too, so we have different kinds of screams. He has hype screams, I have angry screams. So it's like, which one will have which emotion is more powerful? I feel like that meme with the guy going like this. 9 out of 10 Waleed messages, me. Okay. Thank you, Waleed. Thank you, Sotos. Thank you, Booty, Cherry, Cactus Force. Thank you, Tiago. Cherry, congrats on finishing your essay. I'm so happy that you could be around and have fun despite working so hard in the background. Espada Nox. No! I don't want my baby to fight Reze. I'm scared for his life. But yeah, to be fair, explosion powers go. Go boom, literally. Sasuke versus Bakugo frowning competition. How about Megumi from Jujutsu Kaisen versus Aki versus Sasuke? Yes, you would never know who's where doing what. They all look the same. What? I would pay to see that. Sasuke, Megumi, Aki. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Hunter. Whew. It was a lot of fun today, and I'm looking forward to next week. I'll be streaming more Genshin on Friday, more Dragon Ball Super and Pokemon on Saturday, and the Forbidden Kingdom is the sponsor for next Sunday, Antonio's movie. So, yeah. Fun. I'm going to have to get up early tomorrow. Wish me luck.